It's starting to barge, and I see 109.
It's November 29th. It's currently 8:45 p.m.
You're at 109 right now.
I'm making this video to lead those who have fallen down the rabbit hole. And hopefully this will guide you. If you have been interested in the Squabble Up video by Kendrick Lamar, and if you've watched a number of decoding videos, you know, what are the Easter eggs in the videos, and you're searching for, well, maybe you're not searching for anything, but maybe you've stumbled upon this video, and yeah, maybe you just stumbled upon this video. Well, I'm going to give you some really deep information. The rabbit hole goes deep, and I'm going to be there to hold your hand through this. So if you're willing to dig a little deeper, then I'm going to take you there. Yeah. So I'm holding your hand through this, so relax, and hope you enjoy the ride. So let's dig deep, okay? I guess I'll post a link to the best Easter egg decoding video. I just watched it a few minutes ago. It's phenomenal. It's very well produced. And I'll put that in the comment section, or not the comment section, in the description. I'll put it there. However, what I think is just so, I don't know how to describe it, but it's mwah. It's just that mwah. Something that happened in that video is they didn't dig deep enough, right? And that's perfect, because that leaves a room, that leaves an opportunity for me to just pick that shovel up and say, there's more. There's more. So let's go. Let's get it. Come with me. I'm your host. All right. First off, my name is Larry Wiggs. I also go by Alfredo Sanchez when I'm winning Latin American countries. I use that name because when I give my first name Larry, some people misspell my name, especially at Starbucks if I'm in another country. So I'm like, let me give them a name that they're more familiar with. So Alfredo, when they hear that, no misspellings. You know, they're like, oh, okay, Alfredo, I got that. Anywho, I traveled around the world, and some things became clear to me through my travels. I think that my travels made me closer to the truth, brought me closer to the truth, because I was in those locations, those physical locations where historic events took place, and you know, history isn't even in the past, it's right here and now. And when you're in those locations, then it becomes realer to you than, yeah, just like it had happened, you know, or it happened minutes ago. It was like, whatever. Okay. But, okay, let me make this very clear. Enough rambling, right? Let me make this very clear. I'm posting the link to that other video because they did a thorough, fantastic job of all of the elements. But what I'm going to focus on here and now is I'm going to focus on the final frames of the Squabble Up video in Kendrick Lamar. And I'm going to do my best to highlight some of the things that no one is talking about at all. I've watched a number of videos. People have come close, but they haven't gone as deep as I'm about to go. In a good way. Deep because it's all good, but here we go. There was a man, all right, and his name was Ishakamusa Barashango. Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango. He's now deceased, right? But he highlighted some things about Christianity that were hidden, right? So as we dig into the this rabbit hole, he is the first person I want to introduce you to, because you know he's hidden. It's like, yo, nobody's talking about Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango. Now, I must say, the one reason or the one way that I even know of his existence is because of the rapper from Carson, California, Raz Kaz. All right. Now, Raz Kaz said that he learned of Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango, read his books, studied him, and then he did his own research, and he basically came to view the totality of history, of human history, and he was able to write a song, 7-minute song, about the totality of history, given the books that he read and the perspective that those books afforded him. So the first time I heard of Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango, I think it is because of Raz Kaz. I know I want to pronounce it as Raz Kaz. That's how I would call it. But I know Raz, R-A-S, is also Rastafari, right? It's Ethiopian. It's a title. Raz is a title. Did you know that? Did you know that? Anywho, so yeah, it was Raz Kaz. If I'm from LA, so when I was coming up, it was just Raz Kaz, but I did not know that what Raz was. It means Raz. It's the title, right? I didn't know that. Anywho, yeah, he was the first person, and I didn't even learn about the song that he had written, the 7-minute long song, Nature of the Threat. I didn't even discover that until I think 2016, sometime around that. So this is fairly new information for me. The song that he had written was written in the 1990s, 93 or something. So I wasn't even hip to Raz Kaz back then. I might have heard him on a couple of songs, but I wasn't that, in tune, up on game as I am now. So you live and you learn. So anyway, I learned about Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango because his work informed Raz Kaz. I got hip to Raz Kaz, and then when I saw a YouTube video about Raz Kaz documenting how he wrote that song, he paid homage too. He revealed his sources, and he said Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango is one of those sources. All right.
iSee109. 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 iSee109.
What I'm going to hip you to right now is this video, and hopefully no commercial is going to pop up. Here comes a commercial. Can't stand this, but whatever. Capitalism. All right. So I'm hipping you to, first off, the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel that brings this information to us. It's the Transatlantic Productions, all right? Transatlantic Productions. So, excellent resource for knowledge, right? For information. Transatlantic Productions, excellent source. And I began watching their videos probably 2010, 2012, sometime around that time. All right. Now, you're watching the iSee109, right? This is iSee109 YouTube channel.
You're at 109 right now.
That was the voice of Kobe Bryant, right? Peace to Hassan Hayes for hooking me up with that sound bite. So this video is an hour and 58 minutes long. I want to draw a connection to the channel, my channel title, and also this video, because at the 1 hour and 9 minute mark, you see that there at 1 hour and 9 minutes, just about the 1 hour 9 minute mark. Okay, this you're looking at Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango right here. Excuse me. Also, the title of this video is Jesus Explained, Dr. John Henrik Clarke and Ishakamusa Barashango, African Spiritual Concepts, all right? This is Dr. John Henrik Clarke. His eyes were closed because at the time of the recording of this this video, he was suffering from, I believe, glaucoma. I believe it was glaucoma. He had lost his sight, right? So, yeah. So that's why his eyes are closed, okay? Let me tell you about him. He was like, he's now deceased, of course. He was like one of the premier African American scholars, and through all of his life and legacy and his work, he was able to give the African American insight into our history, so that we couldn't have the wool pulled over our third eye. Because there are a lot of people out there. I'm not going to search him up now, but there was this foolish pastor, preacher, a black man, who said something to the effect that Africans had no accomplishments, no empires, no civilization, no great civilizations, back in history. Someone was foolish enough to say that. And with a great man like Dr. John Henrik Clarke, he was able to show the world, show African Americans the greatness of Africa, so that someone who was foolish enough to say something as that pastor, that preacher, has done, for those who knew the truth, they could say that's hogwash, that's foolishness. I don't know what agenda he has for saying that, but that is not the truth. Because we know from the work of Dr. John Henrik Clarke that a rich history lies in Africa, a black history. But if you're in America and you're going to these public schools and stuff and they're not trying to teach you, then you're never going to learn this history. So that's what the war was at that time during the 1980s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It was a war for a war to learn, for the African to learn, who truly, we are. And Dr. John Henrik Clarke was a part of that, to educate us and say, this is who we are. And he did a wonderful, masterful job to do that, okay? So he was one of the premier scholars. And then you have Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango, who, too, was right up the same alley. And this video in particular is one where the two men meet for the first time. And they are recorded, their meeting is recorded. These two great giants in the black political sphere, academia, these scholars, these titans, came together. They weren't arguing. They were there to compare notes and to support each other, It's a beautiful interaction. It's a video you have to watch. Now, I bring this up because at the 1 hour and 9 minute mark, something amazing happens. He says something incredible at the 1 hour 9 minute mark. That when I heard it, I was asleep, but somehow the transmission came in and I heard it and I woke up when I heard it. Now, if you're with me this far, What I'm talking about is the Squabble Up video and how it relates to what these men talked about and what these men brought forth, okay, to the world. These men were talking about this subject in the this video was probably recorded in the early 1990s before these men both passed. But these men shed light on subject matter that was long hidden from so many of us. And Kendrick Lamar in his video has addressed it, subtly addressed it, has put it in plain sight. It's hidden in plain sight. It's right in front of us in the video, but no one's talking about it. All right. Now, he's going to talk about it at the 1 hour and 9 minute mark. He's going to talk about what the Kendrick Lamar video is all about. All right, so I'm going to play it from here, and we're going to get Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango's perspective on what the Kendrick Lamar video, that scene, those final frames where we see the biblical dude, Isaac Hayes, Moses, Black Moses depiction, the Black Jesus picture in the back with the price tag over Jesus, Kendrick, then a Black Panther statue that can be found in many African American homes, right? He's going to explain what we're all looking at right now. All right, so let's pay attention to Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango. Let's give him our attention and let's learn some things, shall we? This is from Transatlantic Productions, Tap, okay?
That he was born to. He came out of, if you look at his genetic tree, his genealogy, you will find that all of those people in there had been of the family of Hasmonean, of the recent, I'd say about the last 10 or 12 of them, of his predecessors, of those he descended from, his ancestors. They were of the family of Hasmonean. Hasmonean was the great father out of which came the Macabean family, which made a strike for freedom and got it from the Syrians, who were subjugating them at the time in the year 167 BCE under Judas Maccabeus and his brother John and several others. Judas Maccabeus meaning Judas the Hammer there.
All right. He's talking about Jesus right now. Every time he's saying he or so, he's talking about Jesus. So this video is called Jesus Explained. So he's explaining Jesus. Now look at the time. We're at 1 hour, 8 minutes, 51 seconds. All right. We're going to be at the 1 hour and 9 minute mark. And guess where you are?
You're at 109 right now.
Man, let's keep it rolling.
And they struck for freedom and established them as an independent nation until the Romans came later and subjugated them there. When there was a fight between one member of the Hasmonean party and the other for power, then they called the Romans in to help, I think it was John Hyrcanus, come into power. It was either John Hyrcanus or Aristobulus. I forget which one it is. But anyway, one was called against the other.
We're at 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 22 seconds. We got about 40 seconds, and he's going to say something in this minute at this point that's profound. Now, how did I find this? How did I hear about this? Like, I was in the desert of Oman. I downloaded this from YouTube, and I saved it to a flash disk. I took it home, and I played the flash disk, and I fell asleep because it's 2 hours long. I fell asleep during this, right? And at the 1 hour and 9 minute mark, when he says what he's about to say, I was half awake, half asleep, and I heard him say it, and I woke up. And I was like, did I just hear him say that? And I got up, and I was like, yo, let me rewind that. What did he say? And then he had my full attention. All right, so here's what he's about to say. He's got 40 seconds, right? Here we go.
And when the Romans did come in and take control, then they took the power from him as well and gave it to a foreigner, an Idumean named Herod there. So now, Jesus' family line in terms of as a dynasty was the Hasmonean Dynasty at the time. And their symbol of their household was a panther, a black panther.
Did you hear that? Did you get that? We're at 1 hour, 9 minutes, 47 milliseconds. Is that right? 1. No. What? What am I reading? I'm reading that wrong. We're at 1 hour and 9 minutes into the video.
You're at 109 right now.
And how this happen, man? How is it that at 1 hour and 9 minutes into this, he says the most profound thing that just is mind-boggling that I happen to hear? Man, come on, man. Yo, when he said that, I was half asleep. I woke up. I was like, wait, what did he say? He said Black Panther and Jesus in the same sentence? So then I was like, okay, wait a minute. This makes complete sense, right? Because when I was listening to what he was saying, now this is my personal experience, right? This is why I even know about this video, right? I mean, some weird things happened while I was in Oman. But here's what happened, right? I heard that, and then this video, what he just said, made a clear line between Jesus and a panther. And I was like, oh, so that's why Jesus and panthers, that's the connection between Jesus and panthers, okay? But what I was saying, what was going through my mind when I was watching this is about a week before I watched this video in the desert of Oman, Nipsey Hussle had been murdered.
I'm from where the fat beats stretch for mad blocks.
You're at 109 right now.
And on the day that Nipsey Hussle was murdered, I drove to work. After receiving the news, I woke up. I cried when I got the news. Tears came to my eyes. I was like, I can't believe that guy has been taken out. I was a wreck. I drove to work, and on my way to work, in the desert, no cars on the road except for me and this other truck. And that truck cut me off. When a car cuts you off, it grabs your attention. You're angry, right? How dare you do that to me? But I looked at the car's truck. I looked at the license plate of the truck, and it had the number 109 on it.
You're at 109 right now.
And I was like, why is 109 here? Why am I seeing 109 in this particular moment? That's bizarre. But then seeing that number whenever I see it, good feelings wash over me, and I'm like, yo, that's good. I saw it. I'm good. So in that moment when I saw 109, I was thinking about Nipsey. I was saddened. I had to drive to work, but I was still saddened by the news, you know? That you don't just wipe that news off of you once you get it. Oh, he's dead. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, I got to get some breakfast, got to shower, got to go to work. Nah, it was like, dang, bro. A dark cloud was over my head for a long time. That whole week I was messed up. Completely messed up. I was down, man. Yeah, I even canceled classes that week. I was like, I don't have the energy to teach you guys. I was like, a king has been killed. And that's probably one of the reasons why they fired me, because they were like, how dare you cancel a class? And I was like, you don't understand, bro. You don't understand. This is devastating. Anyway, so I went from being completely down to having a moment to being angry at the guy for cutting me off, and then seeing my numbers 109, And then feelings of just comfort. Like it was like God was comforting me and making me feel like, don't worry, you are exactly where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. Because in that moment, I was like, what the hell am I doing in this desert? I'm a city boy from Los Angeles. What am I doing in the desert? And the answer is I was chasing dollars, chasing money. That's where the money was. I got a job as an English teacher, so that's where I was. The world, I you know, God put me there. That's where the job was, and I was there. And I felt like I was there for vanity reasons. For it was vanity. It was vain of me to be there because I was just trying to make some money to support myself. If I had a daughter, it'd be like Biggie. I was just trying to support myself to feed my daughter, out in front of those, whatever Biggie said. It was kind of like that. I was like, I'm just trying to survive life. Opportunity brought me to Oman. And I was like, dang, if Nipsey could be taken out like that, then I realized the fragility of life in that moment. And I was like, life could be taken at any point in time. And I was like, I'm thousands of miles away from my family, my true family, my mother, my father, my sister. And I'm just trying to chase dollars and life can be over at any moment. I'm like, man, what is all of this? But after seeing my numbers, for all of those emotions to be present with me, to be saddened at Nipsey's demise, and to be ever present of my own mortality, and then to be angered by a slight, action of another driver that could have made me furious. That was a road rage, moment there. Oh, how dare you? You don't do that to me. Let me show you how pissed off I am, whatever. These are real emotions. And then to see something that washes all of those emotions away and replaces them with the thought of, you are exactly where you need to be. You are complete. This is for you to see. Pay attention. Something like that. That's what those numbers 109 meant to me. And so it was such a strong message that I received, and I was like, what I deduced from all of this was like, well, wait a minute, I think Nipsey was a doggone far more important person in the universe than just being a local celebrity, because the reverberations of his death were so great. I had a colleague of mine who I never thought listened to Nipsey's music, express his sorrow for, Nipsey's demise. And I was like, you listen to Nip? He was like, for sure. Of course. So I was like, Nipsey was so important, man. It's like he was Jesus. And for me, that's what all of the signs were pointing to. Like, why else did I see 109 the day that Nipsey was murdered? Why else did I find this particular clip of this in this video at 1 hour and 9 minutes where he mentions Jesus and a panther together? I was like, man, this 109 stuff is like getting to me.
You're at 109 right now.
It's getting to me in a good way because it's helping me coalesce. It's helping me to connect dots and bring information together to understand what the heck has been happening. As far as I'm concerned, all the times that I've seen 109, they've been moments saying to me, pay attention. And then after 12 years of these moments of, hey, pay attention, it was like pay attention, because when you see 109, it is a marker for it's a marker. It's a 109 is a sign for me to pay attention. And before Nipsey's demise, it was a moment, seeing 109 was a moment to say, pay attention. Are you still paying attention? Are you paying attention? Because we need you to focus. It was like God, the universe was saying, we need you to focus on 109 because when you see it, when it happens, when the event happens, we're going to need you to notice, to take note, and to interpret what has happened for others. So the event was Nipsey's demise, the dispatching of Nipsey. If you're in Los Angeles and you saw it, you would say, oh, this Crip rapper was murdered. Another rapper was murdered. No, but you had to, my perspective, what I have to explain is show you that he wasn't just what you just, dismissed him as. No, like really what it is America, Jesus walked amongst us and you dropped the ball because you're not with the program. You're not with God's program. You're doing something and it's completely devilish. You're leading people to hell, America. So that's the message. And 109 was keeping me on track to make that message clear. And when the event occurred and 109 was right there, it was like, okay, interpret it, make sense of it, reveal it. And I said, oh, okay. And then the pieces just started to fall into place like this. Oh, well, I haven't explained the connection between Jesus and the Black Panther or the Panther and Nipsey. Like, these are just elements out there. These are just dots. Well, let me connect them for you, shall I? Right now. What shoe brand did Nipsey partner with? It wasn't Nike. It wasn't Adidas. It was Puma. And Puma is represented by a cat. The Puma is the cat. It's the Panther. So if Nipsey is wearing the Panther shoe, then we have the same elements. We have the same biblical element true today that was true when the Bible was written. The Bible, as Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango said, that Jesus came from the house of the Hasmonean Dynasty, and their symbol was a panther. He said a black panther. It's like the Puma shoes that represent, or rather the company, the emblem that represented the shoe company, that's synonymous with Nipsey because he partnered with Puma. So Nipsey and Puma brand is a biblical, it's a biblical reality. It's written in the Bible. Jesus and the Panther, those two elements go together like a hand in the glove. So Nipsey and the Panther, check. Jesus and the Panther, check. All right. And 109 is here to explain it to you. I am 109. Right? 109 is a number that represents the teacher's number. Teacher, the guru. Look at the mala bead necklace, and it has 109 beads on it. The 109th bead isn't as significant as the 108 beads that are used for the chanting of a mantra. The 109th bead is the bead at which you stop. You stop chanting, and then you begin again. It's a place marker. But also, it's the bead that holds the entire necklace together. It plays a very important part, a very important role. So they call that 109th bead the guru bead, and it is a symbol of enlightenment, of connecting dots, connecting the beads on the necklace, connecting all of this stuff. So then Kendrick Lamar's video, we're still traveling down this rabbit hole. Kendrick Lamar's video has in it representations of Jesus and a representation of a panther. Now, nobody's talking about this, but Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango talks about this. Now, he also talks about where he got this information. Let's pull it back a little bit and we'll listen to it again. Oh, here comes a doggone commercial. Let me skip this as soon as I can. All right.
Out of which came the Macabean family, which made a strike for freedom and got it from the Syrians, who were subjugating them at the time in the year 167 BCE. The Judas Maccabeus and his brother John and several others. Judas Maccabeus meaning Judas the Hammer there. And they struck for freedom and established them as an independent nation until the Romans came later and subjugated them there. When there was a fight between one member of the Hasmonean party and the other for power, then they called the Romans in to help, I think it was John Hyrcanus, come into power. Or it was either John Hyrcanus or Aristobulus. I forget which one it is. But anyway, one was called against the other. And when the Romans did come in and take control, then they took the power from him as well and gave it to a foreigner, an Idumean named Herod there. So now, Jesus' family line in terms of as a dynasty was the Hasmonean Dynasty at the time. And their symbol of their household was a panther, a black panther. Now I got that from the writings of Sir Godfrey Higgins in the book Anacalypsis. And he seems to substantiate it very well.
All right, guys. So if you're with me this far, the rabbit hole has led you to Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango. It has led you to Dr. John Henrik Clarke. It's led you to Hasmonean Dynasty, the Macabees, and now Sir John Higgins. Sir John Higgins. All right. And the only other website that I found information about the Macabees, or rather, interestingly enough, one of the websites that I found that shed light on the Macabees, it was a Jewish website, Judaism. And what I find interesting about that is there are gatekeepers of information. And one of the reasons why people aren't talking this deeply about the Squabble Up video is because that information is hidden. It's kept behind gates. And so this is what it is. Now, I don't know. Where do I go from here? Let's see. Dr. John Henrik Clarke, Professor Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango, the Pumas, the Panthers, and Jesus. Nipsey Hussle and Puma. Okay, here. I'll take you here. All right, let's go to Sadhguru. Sadhguru. And we're going to look at 108 from Sadhguru. Here we go. All right. You can watch this video on your own. But Sadhguru, right? He talks about the number 108. He breaks it down and he goes into its significance. And he talks about how 108 is a spiritual number. It's a highly sacred number in the Hindu, Indian culture, Buddhism, Hinduism, and other things. Sadhguru is an excellent resource. This video is excellent. You can watch it and hear him. We'll watch a few seconds.
These two are outside your body, 112 inside the body. Of this 112, there are 4 about which you don't have to do anything. They're like that. If other things work, they will flower by themselves. So there are only 108 with which you can work.
108, all right? This video is all about 108. There's another video by Praveen Mohan. Probably get another commercial in here before we turn this off. Nope, here it is.
The number 108, okay? The sun is 400 times larger than the moon, okay? It's 400.
All right. So this is 108, The Secret of Life. He breaks it down as well. I'm not going to get all into you can watch this on your own. But here's what I want to tell you about 108. 108 is a number in our universe that is highly significant and that it repeats. The number of moons between the Earth and the moon, 108 moons. The number of Earths that can be placed between, or rather inside of the sun, from end to end, one end of the sun to the other end, it's 108. The number of suns that can be placed between the sun and the moon is 108. Those are just some examples in our universe. Also, right here on Earth, you have in Ethiopia at a place, city called Aksum, they have a large stele or obelisk that's 108 feet tall. Why did they choose to build it 108 feet tall? That's interesting, right? Then you've got in Guatemala, you have a temple, Tikal. There are a lot of temples there, but there's one temple that is 108 feet tall. Why is it 108 feet tall? Then you go to England, where Stonehenge is located, and the question there is, well, how is it that Stonehenge, the diameter from end to end of Stonehenge is 108 feet? Right? So it is, it's a curiosity. It's a curious fact that 108 repeats in these sacred locations. But it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that it repeats at these sacred locations, and it's not a coincidence that in our celestial bodies, all right, that 108 repeats there as well. Because the law of correspondence takes over, where as above, so below. What's true in the heavens is true on earth. Now, that relates to 108 also relates to the human body. A healthy human body is going to breathe about approximately 108 times, 108 times 100 times during the day. 108 times 100 is 10,800. You're going to breathe about 10,800 times during the day. Same thing at night, 10,800 times at night. Add those two together. What is that? 21,600? 1,600, 21,600. You're going to breathe, the average healthy human body is going to breathe about 21,600 times per day, 24 hours. In a 24-hour time span, that's how many times you're going to breathe. That calculation is not far off from, the estimates. It fits right in the pocket. That is a darn accurate if not precise measurement, it is a darn accurate number, accurate figure. Okay. So 108 is some figure that's important in our celestial bodies in the heavens and the skies above, but then even in our body, our breath. 108 is important, is basic to our existence, right? Shout out to Ron Finley, who says that air, just breathing air is gangsta. Air is gangsta. You can't even see it, but you need it to survive, to live. Air. And that underscores the importance of what Ron Finley is saying. He's saying the importance of 108 is important. The 108 is supremely important because 108 is linked to our breath. All right. So the next thing is our body temperature. When our body temperature rises to 108 degrees, our internal short.
I think, thoughts is powerful in all facets. Because even my career, even my life, things end up turning out exactly how I visualized them. Not in this time frame I expected. You know what I'm saying? You always want shit to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. But, I just had clear visions.
It was at this point that the audio shut off. So, good people, if you made it this far in the video, I'm going to try to sum up what I said earlier when I thought that my voice was being recorded, and it wasn't. So, with regard to 108, I was trying to draw connections to Nipsey Hussle because the number 108, because of the law of correspondence, as above, so below. What happens in the heavens, in the sky above, in space, and throughout the universe, what happens up happens down as well. So I was trying to explain that 108 is a number that is important. In fact, it's a sacred number because you can find it throughout the universe. All right, Sadhguru and Praveen explain it in their videos. I'll try to explain it here a little bit. So there are, between the sun and the moon, you can put 108 suns. No, excuse me, not the sun and the moon. The sun and earth. Between the sun and earth, you can put 108 suns. All right? Put them in a row from the distance between the sun and earth, 108 earths. Inside of the sun, you can take 108 earths and put them, stack them side to side from one end of the sun to the other end of the sun. The diameter of the sun equals the distance of 108 earths. Then, the distance between the moon and the sun, I said it again, I said the moon and the sun. The distance between Earth and the moon is the equivalent of 108 moons. So you're getting a repetition. The number 108 is repeating in the celestial bodies up in the heavens. All right. Now, if the law of correspondence holds true, what is true in the heavens is true on earth, and it's true on earth because right within our human bodies, if our body temperature rises to 108 degrees, our internal organs have shut down and we're dead. 108 is that critical temperature. The number of breaths that we take during the day and night can be calculated, can be estimated at 108 times 100, which is 10,800. 10,800 times is it's an accurate estimate of the number of times a healthy human body will breathe during the day. 10,800 times. And the same is true at night. 10,800 times for a total of 21,000, what is that? That's 1,600, right? Yeah, 21,600 times that we breathe. A healthy human being. That's during day and night, one full day, 21,600. That's an accurate estimation of the number of breaths. The scientists will tell you it's somewhere between like 20,000 and 20, I don't know, 25 something, 25,000. This number, 108 times 100, times 2, gives you 21,600. That's right there, exactly where it needs to be. So there are some examples with the human body and with the universe, all right? Now, if you're Buddhist, if you're Hindu, even if you're Muslim, Catholic, and you had the prayer beads and whatnot, there's a chance that you came across this number 108 in your studies, in your worship, especially Buddhist, especially Hindu, right? But it's a revered, it's a sacred number. It's so sacred that to follow the law of correspondence, we have to give the same degree of importance to a number in the heavens right here on earth. And so in the case of Nipsey Hussle, now it's going to sound crazy, but everything is out in plain sight. Everything is hidden in plain sight. Okay? So get ready for what I'm about to tell you, because it's like, what? It's going to sound crazy. Absolutely crazy. So Nipsey, being able to do everything that he did throughout his lifetime, from believing in himself, to rising to fame, to basically turning the system on its head and leading a movement and showing others that it is possible to pull oneself up. Not so much by your bootstraps, but by belief in yourself. A completely different ideal than those that we are learning in a capitalist society. Okay, this is the method that you do it. Here's how you do it. Nipsey said, no, I'm going to be true to my people, true to my community, true to who I am, and then I will rise amongst the people. The people will bring me up. All right. How did he do it? Well, he had a special ingredient. And that special ingredient was he was sent here to unify his people and to overthrow the oppressor. Same thing that Jesus did. Same thing that Jesus was fighting against, the Romans. Nipsey was fighting against the status quo in our society, fighting against mediocrity and complacency in society. And he was successful at his battles, at winning his battles. Now, again, as I said, it's going to sound crazy when I tell you, how do I know that Nipsey was just as sacred as the number 108 is in the heavens? It's because right here on earth, Nipsey rode the 108 bus. That's the crazy part. Nipsey and 108. Nipsey was 108. How do I know? He rode the 108 bus. But there's also the connection with Puma and the sneakers. Jesus and Puma, or not Puma, but Jesus and a Panther. Nipsey and the Puma brand. Nipsey and 108. The 108 bus. It sounds crazy, I know. But it's hidden in plain sight. You never would have guessed it. It's so obvious. It's like, what? Also, Nipsey rode the 108 bus to get to to get to Watts. And when he got to Watts, at the Watts Towers, look at the address of the Watts Towers. It's like The Watts Towers is like on 106th Street, 107th. I'm not checking it to be for accuracy right now. I'm just going off of memory. It's one of the hundreds. It might even be 104th. I don't know. But it's not far from 108th Street. Matter of fact, I'm guessing it was on 106. I'm guessing that the what is it? The Watts Towers, where Nipsey learned his musical skills. That was at 100 and I'm guessing 106th Street. Not far from 108th, right there in Watts. So a part of his story is, him riding the bus, taking a very big risk of riding the bus through different, gang hoods, to beat the odds. And then arriving at the Watts Towers, which is only a block or so from 108th Street. So it's 108. 108 is integral to Nip's story. You can't talk about Nip's story without talking about the risk that he took by riding the 108th bus to Watts, where he was a block away from 108th Street. 108 is part of his story. As above, so below. Is there anything that I missed? What else can I say? Dr. Ishakamusa Barashango talked about it, put it out there. Nipsey and the Panther, Nipsey and the Puma brand, Jesus and the Panther. 108 is a highly sacred number. Nipsey rode the 108 bus. What else? Since I'm making wild statements, I might as well say Jesus turned water into wine. Right? Water into wine. What did Nipsey do? Nipsey took sweatshirts, socks, and other common articles of clothing, and he turned them into a luxury brand. Water to wine, regular attire, and turned it into a luxury brand. That's what I would say. That's how I would describe Nipsey's change. All right. I guess that's it. So the Squabble Up video is the Squabble Up video talks about a lot of things. The last frames in the Squabble Up video are references to Jesus, but also Moses. It's directly related to Moses, but it's also related to Jesus. But then Moses and Jesus are two of the Abrahamic faith's prophets, and peace be upon them. So somewhere in there, Muhammad is in there as well. It's all about the Abrahamic faiths, but it's all about the truth. It's all about the truth in humanity and the truth in the universe. And I tried to make some sense of it. I had some real experiences that I just can't fully explain. I've tried to explain them. I did my best, and everything is still a mystery. It seems it makes so much sense to me, and at the same time, it makes no sense at all. It's like, wait, I can't explain this clearly. I just don't know. And yet, I know I experienced it, and I know how it made me feel. And that's important. So it's still a mystery because life is a mystery. Einstein said life is a mystery, and that's the best that we can receive and enjoy about life, that it's a mystery. Einstein, talked about life being a mystery. So just at the end of the day, my final statement is thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, kudos to you. And perhaps you can take the ball and run with it. But Yeah, if you watched this far, I appreciate you. And peace and blessings from iSee109. And enjoy the mystery.
So now, Jesus' family line, in terms of as a dynasty, was the Hasmonean Dynasty at the time. And their symbol of their household was a panther, a black panther.
These questions, though, they're like, I don't know, do you wish you had feet, or you wish you didn't have feet, or, how would you live without a head? I mean, they're very strange.
October 9th.
Yes, sir.
That's where it starts.
You're at 109 right now.